The wedding of the world's second richest man in the world, Amazon owner Jeff Bezos, to Lauren Sanchez, who, by the way, Lauren, woman to woman, you've played a blinder girl. Well played. But as always, we had the great and the good, the A-listers, the celebrities, the millionaires, and of course the billionaires all turning up. And for once, they weren't lecturing us about how we all need to be more eco and wash our yoghurt pots out and turn the lights off and stop driving our cars, as they flew in on, I kid you not, 96 different private jets. Well, let's talk about this with Chris Morrison. He's the environment editor of the Daily Sceptic. Good afternoon to you, Chris.
Hi, Julia.
I have a funny feeling you don't spend a lot of time being very concerned about effectively celebrity billionaire weddings. Sadly, I think you and I were not on the list, didn't choose not to go to Venice, but this was just another classic example, and we see that with every major event where all these A-listers attend, is that they talk one thing and all their little lectures on social media and all their campaigning, but they act in a completely different way when it comes to their own private lives.
Yes, alas, I was forced to stay in England to enjoy a lovely day, a summer's day. Sorry, a day of climate collapse, as we now know it. You know what they say about hypocrisy? It's the tribute that vice pays to virtue. And the people at this wedding, there was obviously an awful lot of virtue on display, and there was quite a bit of vice. But that's, of course, if you take the view that carbon dioxide is a problem. Yeah. I mean, we can come to that. The problem is we can't talk about that because, as you were talking earlier, Ofcom means that you'll have to get someone like Jim Dale on to oppose me or something like that.
It's settled. It's a settled issue, climate change, as being caused by man and being a crisis.
Yes, yeah, and the fact that nobody can talk about it for the last 40 years means that most of the people there know absolutely diddly squat about it, and they don't understand that carbon dioxide is a trace gas, that we probably might even need a bit more in it when we see the enormous greening and the de-desertification that's going on at the moment. But leaving that aside, we don't want to get too upset Ofcom too much by talking.
Oh no, feel free. If Ofcom are upset by facts, I've not got an issue with that.
Yes. Well, I mean, you know, when you're dealing with climate, facts are useful, but not necessarily when it's reported in the mainstream media. No, we had all these people, these celebrities. I looked at some of the guest lists. We had DiCaprio, the actor.
Yeah.
This is a chap who flew 9 years ago. He flew 8,000 miles to pick up an award. Yeah. An award, would you believe, for an environment award.
It's just wonderful, isn't it? I mean, it's so blatant. I mean, I often say this, but it's like, do they know we can see them?
Yes, I know. It's you know, it's very much, you know, the rant of the sinner of the ages. Oh Lord, make me holy, but not just yet. We had Bill Gates is another one who spent a fortune, got a private plane, justifies it because of his work needs to be sent around the world, and justifies it because he does a bit of carbon capture. Well, as I say, the CO2 that we're pushing out into the atmosphere with all those lovely private jets is actually doing a much better job of greening the planet than some silly carbon capture scheme that he.
But the key thing about this is, again, everyone says, this is the equivalent, 96 private jets, equivalent to 27,300 cars, daily emissions. I don't care. I think cars are a great thing. Cars are a lot cleaner than they used to be, and that's a really good thing. Indeed, they're working on making aviation fuel a lot cleaner than it used to be, and planes that's also a really good thing. But fundamentally, the ability to travel, whether it's, to your place of work or to go visit family or to go to a billionaire friend's wedding on the other side of the world, that's a good thing. We used to enjoy the fact that human beings had taken control over our lives in that way, and now it's supposed to be terribly bad and, sackcloth and ashes and self-flagellation. And it is a very, very, very strange thing. But the people who most preach this are the people who basically carry on with their own lives. And what they mean is, again, these people are all signed up to all these projects where, people shouldn't be allowed to drive in their own cities or to travel a long way or get more than, say, one return flight on a holiday a year, and they want to wag their fingers at everyone. But what they think is that I'll be able to buy my own way out of that because I'm rich and I'm privileged, and what I do is different from what, us mortals, us plebs do.
It's a political narrative, of course. It's got nothing to do with science, and in fact, they gave up talking about the science 40 years ago, and as I say, put on people like Jim Dale to discuss it. So they've given up themselves. It's a political narrative. It's if you control hydrocarbons, as you say, you can control more or less what humans do. There's a neo-Malthusian narrative behind it. They think there's just too many people on the Earth.
They do.
That can be, discussed either way. The Earth has managed to sort of survive even with 8 billion people because of the use of hydrocarbons, because the hydrocarbons provide this wonderful fertilizer that means that we can feed the earth.
Yep.
We can, as you say, travel where we wish. They wished, if you like, to control. It's an elitist control mechanism.
Yeah.
As I say, designed really. Gates talks about, flew in by private plane. In his book that was given huge publicity on the BBC, I think he read it out for, Book of the Week. He talks about eating less meat.
Yeah.
And they talk about being carbon neutral, and John Kerry, who's that sort of bloating Biden climate bluffer, has got his own family jet, and they talk about how they need to get around.
They're just complete hypocrites. Meanwhile, of course, the world is on fire, and we've got a heat wave, and apparently it's all terrible, and we're all being told, we'll barely make it through the day.
It's 30 degrees. It's appalling. It's truly appalling. I don't know how I'm going to survive.
I'm very lucky. I'm sitting in aircon now. We've had 2 callers who've got swimming pools at home, and one is off to the seaside. Very, very nice. It's not very pleasant in a lot of our homes because they're not designed for the heat. Maybe we have to be a bit more careful about that. But I think the solution most people would love is aircon. Air conditioning would be the solution to all of our problems, would it not? But, run by fossil fuels. Chris Morrison, I wish we had along with you. Always so good to get you on. Environment editor at the Daily Sceptic. Thank you very much indeed.